JBN, we keep you informed. Double murder on Spanish Town Road in St. Andrew. 2 men were shot dead along Spanish Town Road in the vicinity of Riverton City in western St. Andrew on Sunday. The identities of the men and the available details of the incident have not yet been released by the police. The Corporate Communications Unit, CCU, the police's information arm, confirmed the murders and had issued a release advising motorists to avoid traversing that route as the area was cordoned off for crime scene investigative purposes. The shooting incident reportedly occurred at about 10:15 a.m. Man arrested after police seized 2 cars, 3 mobile phones at house where illegal gun was found. The police say a man was arrested upon discovering an illegal gun and several rounds of ammunition and seizing 2 motor cars and 3 mobile phones yesterday in Booth Town, Baileystown in Clarendon. Reports from the Spalding police are that about 4:30 p.m. a team went to a dwelling place where they saw 2 men who ran upon their arrival. Another man who was seen on the premises was accosted, and he along with the premises were searched. During the search, a Smith & Wesson 9mm pistol with a magazine containing 12 9mm rounds of ammunition was found in the pocket of a concrete block. 2 motor cars and 3 cellular phones were also seized. The police say the man whose identity they have not released was subsequently arrested. St. Catherine man accused of killing 8-year-old boy remanded for psychiatric evaluation. The St. Catherine man, who allegedly stabbed an 8-year-old boy to death and injured his mother, has been remanded for psychiatric evaluation. When the case was mentioned in the St. Catherine Parish Court on Friday, the lawyer for the accused, 28-year-old Dwayne Thomas of Old Harbour Glade, St. Catherine, requested that he be transferred from the Portmore Police lockup in St. Catherine to the Tower Street Adult Correctional Centre in Kingston to get psychiatric treatment. The court gave approval and set February 20 for the accused to return. Thomas is charged with the November 30 killing of the child who was his stepson. It's alleged that the incident stemmed from a disagreement between the accused and the child's mother. This resulted in Thomas attacking both the mother and child, who succumbed to multiple stab wounds. Justice Minister tells criminals to use plea bargaining law to expose corrupt politicians. Justice Minister Delroy Chuck is calling on criminals to make use of the country's plea bargaining law to help the authorities expose corrupt politicians. The Justice Minister was addressing a Justice of the Peace Sensitisation session at the Montego Bay Convention Centre in St. James on Friday. Minister Chuck says this is an opportune time for criminals to come forward and take advantage of the possible benefits available through plea bargaining. The country's plea bargaining law was thrust into the spotlight during the recent trial of Tesha Miller. Miller was convicted of being an accessory before and after the fact to murder in relation to the 2008 killing of then chairman of the Jamaica Urban Transit Company, Douglas Chambers. The state's only witness was serving a life sentence for murder and attempted arson, with the possibility of parole after 16 years. But that sentence was reduced to 10 years, with the possibility of parole after serving a third of the time as a result of plea bargaining. Minister Chuck praised this move by the witness. Speaking with Justices of the Peace in St. James, Minister Chuck encouraged other criminals to make use of plea bargaining, but this time he says criminals should also expose corrupt politicians. Minister Chuck says it's time for the nation to address the link between crime and politics. The Justice Minister says other jurisdictions, such as the United States, make great use of plea bargaining. He says the government will continue the push to utilize the law in Jamaica. Truckers under the gun. Truck drivers who distribute goods from Kingston to the North Coast are being plagued by armed robbers as they travel along hilly routes in St. Anne and St. Catherine. Judith Ann Williams Sharp, Executive Director of the All Ireland Truckers Association, said that heists are occurring daily and the robbers have been employing ingenious methods to relieve the truckers of the goods consigned to them for delivery. The hoodlums, she said, are heavily armed and not afraid to use their guns. When the trucks are driving up Mount Russell, the thieves hop the truck and use modern equipment to cut off the locks at the back doors and unload the goods when the truck is in motion. The drivers sometimes don't realize what is going on, Williams Sharp added, in descriptions of real-world tactics that could have been pulled from Hollywood movie scripts. There's a crew of them who are heavily armed and are not afraid to shoot at drivers if they do not get their way. They used to carry out the robberies at nights, but their hours of operation have expanded and they are now doing it in broad daylight, she added. Williams Sharp said the thieves target trucks that transport cement, hardware items, clothes, food, and household items. The Mount Russell route is located in the St. Catherine North Police Division, and crime officer for that division, Deputy Superintendent Leighton Blackstock, confirmed that the police are aware of the concerns. We have received reports of robberies in that area, Blackstock said. O'Shane Findley is the owner of a truck and plies that route on a daily basis. He recounted 3 incidents in which he encountered the band of robbers. 2 of those incidents left him holding the bag. The first 2 times it happened, I never see or hear anything. I just see my door swinging. The first time them thief 19 bags of feeding, and the second time them thief 6 bags of sugar, Findley said. Findley's third encounter with the thieves ended with him narrowly escaping injury after he saw them early and sped up. A group of men just run out of the bushes and attempt to jump on the truck. Me see them early and speed up, and when them see that them couldn't catch the truck, one of them just squeeze off 2 shots. I stop up the road and check, but nothing was missing, he said. I know of people whose trucks have been broken into while they were driving. I don't know what they have used to cut it, throw the thick locks on the door fast. Them use modern equipment, he added. According to Williams Sharp, the crooks have upped the ante along the Chalky Hill to Droxall route, which bypasses the front gully in the neighboring parish of St. Anne. She said that the men grease the roads and cut down trees in order to disable the heavy vehicles so they can subdue their drivers and empty the holding areas of the vehicles. They are even more active between Chalky Hill and Droxall. These thugs seem to have information on which truck is carrying what kind of goods, as them seem to target those with the goods them want. They are located at different points along the route. So if the driver loads one set, they have to contend with another set further along the route. They sometimes jump on top of a truck from the trees as the truck climbs the hill slowly, and then they get to the driver, hold him at gunpoint, and their cronies unload the truck, she said. The truckers are complaining that they are at their wits' end due to the fact that despite numerous complaints, the police seem to be indifferent to their plight. The Yuatan police are of no help, and the Bagwag police say truckers must go and get them one gun, Williams Sharp said. Her claim was backed up by Findley. I went to the Yuatan police, and them say it look like me involved, and them soon start lock up truck man. The station lock up every night and the police give us attitude, he said. The truck owners and drivers say their problems are further compounded because the companies they are contracted to distribute for deduct money from their pay if goods are stolen. Sometimes the stolen goods is worth more than the value of the trip. The companies say they have adopted that policy because of unscrupulous drivers who are known to have taken part in the stealing of the commodities. So if the drivers get robbed, it is the truckers who foot the bill for the loss, Williams Sharp said. She admitted that some truckers are in fact dishonest, but called for each case to be judged on its merit and argued that companies should detest from punishing every trucker for the actions of a nefarious few. Man accused of killing 16-year-old changes plea now says he's not guilty. A St. Elizabeth man who pleaded guilty to manslaughter in relation to the stabbing death of a 16-year-old girl 3 years ago changed his plea to not guilty during his sentencing hearing on Friday. Horatio Bruce, otherwise called Prenter, of Malvern in the parish, said he was frustrated and was urged by his attorneys to plead guilty to the charge, which he now claims he knew nothing about. Bruce had initially pleaded guilty on Monday, November 25, when he appeared before the St. Elizabeth Circuit Court. He was initially charged with the murder of Sharika Roberts of Newcombe Valley in St. Elizabeth. On Friday, the drama unfolded in court when it was heard in a social inquiry report that Bruce told the probation officer that frustration led him to plead guilty and he denied killing the teen. Surprisingly, he also suggested that his attorneys encourage him to offer the guilty plea, but his attorneys swiftly denied that assertion and have since removed themselves from the case. In light of the dramatic developments, presiding High Court Judge Justice Chester Stamp ordered that legal aid representation be secured for Bruce by his next court date of March 9, 2020. The case will also be mentioned at that time. Allegations are that on September 12, 2016, The teen was at home in Newcombe Valley when she was called up by Bruce, who she had a relationship with. The teen allegedly told Bruce that their relationship was over, and during an argument he used the knife to stab her in the neck, chin, and the left foot. The teen allegedly told family members the identity of her killer before she died. Following a probe by the police, Bruce was arrested and charged. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment, and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.